So the stewardship series continued, and I tried to think of another, how can I bend what I've already done? So I thought, well, instead of an apple on the outside, I'll put an apple of the earth on the inside, and then I'll unpeel the apple. You with artistic minds know how the brain works. And stewardship 4, and we won't belabor too long. And stewardship 5, the great melting of the glaciers, things melting down, Earth, global warming. You notice that the piece of fabric is roughly the shape of the United States because we're one of the worst offenders of pollution and so forth. So what we've tried to do, and we've given many lectures about the art of stewardship across the country, is we try to encourage artists to use their star power, because many artists do have the star power, to use the power of imagery to get people thinking, not just consciously, but we need to think subconsciously about what we're doing with the earth. And the encouraging part to me here, being in front of all you young folks, is that you're already on the bandwagon, so much more than my age group was, or even maybe can be. So I know there's great hope for doing the right thing. One of the things that I got involved with recently is with and Mark mentioned this in his introduction, a group called the Circle of Blue, and they are journalists and photojournalists who have decided to use their art ability, which is writing and photography, to inform the world, to bring together the dispirited facets of science and combine all our knowledge about the impending freshwater crisis. Now, if you're like me, most of you folks in this room grew up going to the tap and turning it on, but a great majority of the world does not exist that way. So one of the future problems of the earth will be fresh water. So we need to focus on that. This is, you never know where inspirations are going to come from, and one of my favorite singer-songwriters is the Canadian Joni Mitchell, who was very popular in the 60s and 70s. And this is inspired by a song where she said, oasis, the earth is an oasis in space, the little garden planet. And again, this is pretty much my experience in growing up, is this revelation that the world is finite. So let's go to the next picture here. That's the Circle of Blues website, if you're interested. It's pretty amazing what they've done. It's a group of very young people that have a lot of energy, and they're determined to increase the awareness of the freshwater crisis. So this is a painting I did, and this is an example of what an artist could do. I did a painting which I donated for the cause of Circle of Blue, and a number of giclée prints. Everyone that sold, the money goes to the Circle of Blue. And if you look closely in the leaf, you can see North America in the upper left and South America in the lower right, and the Great Lakes. Of course, the Great Lakes is the largest body of fresh water in the world. We don't want to pollute the Great Lakes. And I even learned that leaves on a tree, they're not just pointed just because it's kind of pretty. They're pointed to funnel the water towards the base of the tree, of course. So I did a whole series of paintings that was just about water, to inform about water, just to remind people about the preciousness of every drop of water that we take for granted. So again, the importance of making these sort of notes in the mind of that it has to be subconscious. It has to be something that we do without thinking. And I think art can do that. Art is the oldest form of communication. And you all are young, but you've seen what the power of your art. I mean, here it is in the U.S. Capitol. So it must be a significant thing. It must be something worthwhile. And reflecting on what the other congressman had said about Kennedy, I don't know if it was in that same speech, but in another speech, he spoke about what really lasts in a civilization is its artwork. When you look at something like the Parthenon and the beauty of that thing, it's 2,500 years old, and people are still mesmerized by it. So art certainly has great value. So we try to organize and host exhibitions. We try to encourage other people to take part in doing what I've had success in doing, because I think it's one way to communicate very important issues. And to show the Earth as a sphere, to show the Earth as a blue marble, as I started out the presentation with, is a new phenomenon. 100 years ago, that notion didn't exist, not to mention 500 or 1,000 years ago or 10,000 years ago. So in much that I talked about it being a burden, you also have to remember that this is a great privilege to be able to see and know where we really are in the great universe, and to know the fragility of the world. Part of solving whatever problems we might have is recognizing it, and that's the first step. So this, and I'll end with this picture. This picture ended up actually in the home of Susan Rice, who is the ambassador to the United Nations for the United States, and she saw it as a significant picture. It's called One World. It's a reminder of the tiny planet that we live on, and the doors perhaps suggest what's behind there, the unknown. Again, what waits for us tomorrow. But I think our minds are getting in the right location.